photography of The Benita Show.
I'm David Kelly from SES Studio Films, photographer.
Ryan Gregory with RBG Studios in association with SES Studio Films.
Hi, I'm Daniel Schaefer with Force Power Studios in association with SES Studio Films and The Benita Show.
I'm David Hamrick. I am an intern for SES Studio Films.
I'm Carrie Stoltz. I'm a co-producer of SES Studio Films.
And I'm Scott Stoltz, executive producer and director for SES Studio Films, and together we have created this holiday special for The Benita Show. So, on behalf of SES Studio Films and our local filmmakers, Happy Holidays!
Hey everybody, you're here with the crew of Welcome to Shirley Psycho Films' new movie, and from behalf of all of us, we wanted to wish the Benita Show and the St. Louis arts and films community a happy holidays.
Happy holidays!
This is Donnie Blake. Welcome to the Benita Show. And on behalf of Catcher Blake and Stoltz, LLC, we want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
That's our mom. Happy holidays!
Next up, we have Mr. Robert Bob Coleman, the radio man himself.
Last time I think Antonio sat on this couch, didn't he?
Yes, Antonio Vargas. Huggy Jerry, you know Antonio Vargas. You know, he's been on my show. Yeah, you brought him up there.
Absolutely.
Robert Bob Coleman has been in the radio for a long time. I know you guys have had time to read about him. He has helped me do a lot of things with my show. He helped me get Antonio Vargas. We were gallivanting around in Chicago with Curtis Blow, and I was able to get shout-outs from Salt and Pepper. You know, when I did the hip-hop show, I had never done a hip-hop show on the Benita Show, and so it was just almost perfect timing that I met him at the old school hip-hop show. Came here. Last time I've been to a concert, I was 13. 13, because I'm not a crowd, you know, I'm not a big into crowds. Last time I was, but I got a wild hair. I said, I'm going to go down here to this concert and support Salt and Pepper, you know, people we grew up with. Am I telling my age? the people we grew up with. And that's where I met him, giving out my cards, standing out back, giving out my cards to Curtis Blow, and he asked me what did I do, yada, yada, yada. And
I was the only one that stopped.
Huh?
I was the only one that stopped.
Yep.
But that's what I believe in, you know. We didn't all start at the top.
Yeah.
And I promised myself once I got into the industry that I was always keeping an eye out and an ear out for someone like me. Because I was one time standing outside the stage doors and sleeping outside the radio stations, which these kids don't understand nowadays. These kids, you know, they go on these computers and they record a song today and they want to be Beyonce or superstar tomorrow. Yeah. But they don't want to do the work. But I tell these kids all the time, I'm coming from Chicago. Yeah. You know, my very first job in radio, well, the very first, and I don't want to, well, I don't care about dating myself. But I put together this hot mix, this special mix of this brand new song that was brand new, and I wanted it on the radio, you know, and I mixed it in my bedroom. And so I called at that time the #1 station in Chicago, and I couldn't get past the receptionist, you know, because every day I would call and, you know, talk to the program director. Who is this? My name is Bob Coleman. What company? I'm not with a company. You know, I couldn't get past the gatekeeper. And so I had to figure out a way to do it. So the guy that I wanted to talk to, the guy that I needed to talk to was the program director, but he also did the morning show. And so his show came on at 5:30 a.m. And so I said, well, he has to get to work, you know. So I got my '64 Chevy Impala at the time that I had, with the house speaker in the back seat. house speaker.
I don't know anything about that. A house speaker and the truck.
My '64 Chevy with the house speaker in the back seat and no heat because the heater didn't work. But this is Chicago, and I went down to Michigan Avenue, which is where the station was located, and I parked my car in front of that station like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I waited, and I waited. And about 4:45 that morning, a guy came walking down the street with I never will forget, he had on a black mink coat. And he was a program director. And I jumped out the car, had my little tape in my hand. His name was
Wait. Did he have a hat tilted to the side?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, be on the black meat.
Yeah, black meat. You gotta have a hat, right?
No,
you gotta have a hat to go out to here. You know,
but the black meat coat represented how much money he was making.
Okay, didn't need the hat. He didn't need the hat. He
No,
didn't need the hat. Okay.
You know, but I jumped out of my car and ran up to him. And I had my little tape in my hand, and I was like, "Excuse me, sir. My name is Bob Coleman, and I made this tape. I want you to play it on your radio station." He looked at me. He said, "How long have you been out here, son?" I said, I don't know. And he said, you know, he took the tape, and he said, "You know what, Bob?" He said, "This is one tape I'm going to listen to." And 3 to 4 days later, that tape was being played on his radio station, and the mix was Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. And so I tell these kids, you have to put in the tenacity, you have to put in the work, you know, and it's not an overnight thing. You know, I've run into people, I've written plays, and the play that I wrote is called Big Time.
Right.
It's been performed here in St. Louis several times. We took it out on the road, and you know, even with you, life is a dream, man. We've lived it. You know, you know, you were standing outside the door. I saw your desperation. So I stopped.
I didn't have a cup in my hand, guys. I had a card in my hand.
I stopped, and you know, we made it happen for you.
Yeah.
And I get pleasure. I get my pleasure out of making it happen for other people. You know, seeing it happen for other people, because you know, my theory is, you know, help other people get what they want, and ultimately you get what you want.
Pay it forward.
Pay it forward. That's what it is. You know. So I was telling a friend of mine yesterday, life. You know, these kids they get high on drugs and alcohol. I've never drank. I've never done any drugs in my life. No, I don't have a story like that. But I tell people all the time, if you let life blow your mind, that's the greatest high in the world, because not only does it get you high, but you can remember the next day what made it happen.
Yeah.
You know,
That's good.
and because a couple weeks ago, I was telling them my brother-in-law actually, I had one of those dream moments, and I'll share it with you in the audience. I was sitting in my car, and the guys are going to really appreciate this. The women are going to be like, "Oh, okay," but the guys, get ready. I'm sitting in my car literally 2 weeks ago, right here in St. Louis. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I looked in the back seat, and there she was, sitting in my back seat, asleep. And I look back, and I'm like, wow, she's sitting in the back seat of my car, sleeping. And I'm like, I don't believe this. You know, I wanted to wake up everybody in St. Louis and say, hey, everybody, look who's sitting in the back seat of my car at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday night sleeping. And you know who it was? Who was it? Thelma from Good Times.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'm like, who would have ever thought?
Okay.
You know, I grew up watching Good Times as a kid. And someone had told me that Thelma from Good Times was going to be in the backseat of my car.
You'd be like, no way.
But that's what happened. You know,
see, that's a touchy subject for me, though, Bob, because you didn't call me when Thelma was in town for the interview.
I know.
See.
But it happened so, everything happened so fast.
I know.
You know, we were moving and shaking, and it was just a blur.
Yeah.
But she signed on. She and I are going to be doing some things together. Yeah, and so you will get your interview. I promise you that.
Thank you. Thank you. I have some good stuff on you, Bob, that you
okay.
you know.
Oh boy.
Bob don't know about this video. Yeah. Let's take a look at that.
Uh-oh. Let's take a look at it.
5, 4, 3, 2.
I'm Mel Devine with Magic 108.
What's up? My name is Pepper, known as Sandy.
And I'm Salt. My real name is Cheryl.
And Spinderella's real name is Dee Dee.
And who are you?
I'm Kid Williams, Magic 108, of course.
Hi.
And we want everybody to look out for Magic City Video coming to this station.
Okay, we're going to do that one more time.
Hey, I thought we were supposed to do that.
What happened? You say, how can we do that?
Okay, after he says his name.
You hold the mic and just.
You just, right, let him finish. You hold the mic, let him finish saying everything. And then you
I say, look out
for Magic City Video. Coming soon to this station.
This is Kid Williams. We're live with Salt and Pepper for Magic City Videos this afternoon. Welcome to St. Louis, ladies.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Congratulations on your latest single. It's called Push It.
Yeah,
Thanks, fellas. Thanks, Scott.
That was the Animal House back in the day.
We had some more. I got you with Can't Go Kid. I got you with
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith and I did a video together.
Parents just don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually shot the first. I actually shot the first version of that song on video. With Will and I did a video. I had a camcorder. We were in the station, and I said, "Hey, Will," I said, "Let's do a video." And he said, "Okay." So I put the song on. I grabbed my camcorder.
Scott, fast forward that. Let's look at that.
We just made it up. And, this was before, he became the megastar.
My name is the Fresh Prince. I'm here with Jazz Saunders. Stay tuned for more.
You are nuts.
Magic 108, where the microphones are made of 14-karat gold.
You go to school to learn, not for a fashion show. Take the city shining up. Come on, Mom, I'm not Belgium. Please put back the bell-bottom Brady Bunch trousers. But if you don't want to, I can live with that. But you gotta put back the double-knit reversible slacks.
The Benita Holiday Show will be right back. Oh, look,
that's a good one. That's a good
All right, well, I best initiate my approach then. Say you should do it within 30 seconds of seeing your target or you lose your nerve. Hey there! Hey there! Hey there! Sorry to bother you, I was just curious. Did you happen to see what just happened outside?
Listen, you gotta put yourself out there. You're never gonna get any. Just another frustrated chump. Chicks are gonna dig a guy that's just a little bit of a jerk. Say something slightly disparaging and they're there for the takes.
You want me to tell you what you're thinking right now?
Actually, I'm waiting for my boyfriend.
Wrong! You want a shot of something?
No, I want you to go away. Do you mind?
No, not at all. I'm Pete.
Oh, hey. I've been waiting for you for like 20 minutes. I would like you to meet my boyfriend.
Boyfriend? And the happiest 2.5 years of my life, I can assure you. See you around.
The Stephanie girl, I really feel something for her. What do you do for work?
Please. Nobody ever asks that question unless they're just trying to get in your pants.
You're starting to sound like a guy that's getting kind of serious there. Could it be that player Pete has finally met his match?
Yeah, rom-com this, rom-com that. Why do you even care?
Because it's the same dumb story every time. Girl meets guy, they fall in love.
I don't normally do this kind of thing.
Oh, and you're not a big cook? I never would have guessed that.
The guy does something dumb.
Yeah, Sharon, how are you?
And the girl dumps him, and the guy has this epiphany, and then the girl goes, okay, whatever, and then they get together, they go home, they live happily ever after.
This isn't going to work, Pete. We're so through.
Whoa. Back up a second. Hey, Stephanie, it's me, it's Pete. You think you're breaking up with me? I'm breaking up with you! How do I delete this?
I need to prove to her that I am unafraid of any barriers whatsoever. I will do whatever it takes to prove to her the mistake that she's made.
I think you need to write this one off, Pete. Just let her go. Forget about her.
Oh, God. Not you again.
What do you think she wants? What does she want from me?
I think what she wants from you is to leave her alone.
Are you following me?
No. It's a poem. I wrote this for you. I've acted according to my heart here, I mean, that kind of thing doesn't come easy for guys like me.
You have to throw in the towel in this one. You can't keep stalking her like this.
This is about stalking. And stalking is about love. Nice, yeah, that looks really good.
I don't know, I think it looks terrible. But that could just be me. I'm just not that into romantic comedies.
Yeah, rom-com. Pretty lame.
Yeah, totally.
Same dumb story every time.
That was the day we actually shot the My Parents Just Don't Understand video in the next room. I still have it. I keep it on the lock and key because I'm waiting.
You waiting? I hear you. Now you've done Talk Show with Heart, and you're getting ready to move to a bigger station. Tell us a little bit about that.
The talk show that I do is called, that's the next step for me. You do music radio, you can only intro so many songs before that gets boring. Yeah. So for me, the next step was to move into talk radio. And I host a show called Business Talk with Heart. And what Heart stands for is his everlasting advantage requires tenacity. And You know, I have my guests come on, and you know, we talk about you and your business.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur, you know, actor, businessman, businesswoman, no matter what it is, I've had some pretty interesting people on the show, and I like my guests to drop the mask. You know, don't get on my show and tell me about everything is peaches and cream. Tell me about the bad day. You know, playwrights, we know. You know, when the stuff just don't go right. You know, I had to actually learn, you know, a staging on the fly. You know, because the first time I did my play, it was done at a high school, at Roosevelt High School, and then we moved from Roosevelt High School to Harris Stowe State College Auditorium, and from Harris Stowe to the America Center, which was a union house. We'd never been in a union house, so we walked in. It was like, "Well, where's your lighting plan?" I was like, "What's a lighting plan?" And he was like, "Well, how do you want your lights?" I was like, "On." Yeah, so,
good answer.
Yeah, right. It was, but it was quite an experience. So you learn about fire.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but and that's what I like my guests to talk about. Tell us about the days that, as a business owner, when you plan to when your rent's due, and you say, "I'm going to have a great day today to pay my rent," and you don't have a great day. You know, what do you do as a business owner on days like that? You know, and so I like people to talk about that on my show, so that maybe somebody at home who's listening saying, I wonder if I could, or wonder if I could, then they say, well, if they can do it, I can do it. So it's business talk with heart.
That's good stuff.
And I also have a ministry that's 3 years old now. And I went, and let me be the first to say, I went kicking and screaming all the way. You know, because I'm, you know, preacher me, no, pick somebody else, you got the wrong person.
Right.
You know, but God said, yeah, you. Because, and it was something that you know, I've always wanted to, you know, radio and everything I'm doing, and God has blessed me. I've had a blessed life, but I promised God a long time ago, I said, let me do what I want to do, and I'll do the preaching thing later. And later came.
Right in your face.
And he tapped me on the shoulder, and I kept trying to blow him off, but he was like, no, brother. You know, your time is up. So we've been 3 years in the ministry, Freedom Christian Ministries, north side of St. Louis. And, you know, we just, you know, we preach God's word, man. You know, I don't get into the programs and the ceremonies and the religiosity. We just keep it real, and thus says the Lord. And it's been working, and we're just going to keep following God and keep following his lead and blessing people as we go along.
That's good stuff.
So,
good stuff. And being patient with people like me, right?
Absolutely.
With my time. Well, anything else you want? Any last words you want to have? You have for the world or for our audience here?
Yeah, just I like to say to everybody that's watching, people here in the audience, just keep following your dreams, man. You know, because if you give up on you, if you don't believe in yourself, and what I mean by believing in yourself, I think we have to be more interdependent on one another. Everybody's trying to be independent, and we're independently broke. You know, but coming together and being interdependent. You know, my being here today, Antonio, you know, Antonio Vargas, this guy's an icon, you know, but he hung out with you and I like he was Bubba.
I know when you say you had the Thelma from Good Times in the backseat of your car, I had Huggy Bear in the backseat of mine, taking a nap. He said, I wouldn't have put that on film, Benita, but okay. I said, well, who gets to ride Huggy Bear around in the vehicle? So, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So just, you know, just keep following your dreams, and that's one thing that I admire about you. And I believe in giving people their flowers when they can smell them and can appreciate them. And, you know, and I was telling my wife earlier that that's one thing about you. You never give up. That's what I saw in you the night that Curtis and I were walking out of the auditorium. You know, I saw your drive. I didn't know much about you, but I saw your drive, and that's why I made the initiative. To call you that following Monday, and that started the ball rolling. So I just want to tell you, just keep doing what you're doing. Let God lead you, and you're going to be great.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it.
The Benita Holiday Show will be right back.
You're watching the Benita Show Holiday Celebration. Check out these previews and see what your St. Louis independent filmmakers are doing.
Here's the trailer for our new upcoming film, Welcome to Shirley, premiering January 3rd at the Tivoli Theater. We hope you enjoyed the clip and would love to see you out at the show. Take care.
Hey, I understand you dislike me.
I never said that.
Well, do you?
Yes.
Take all of my time and money. You could take
all of my dreams. You could take all of my smiles. Mama, you can have all of these things. So strange the way you always seem.
Dad was the town bowling hero.
When I heard that your father had died, the first thing I did was go on the internet and order this necklace. It's considered to be a ward against negative energies.
Mama, you can have all of these things.
Hey, hey!
What are you doing?
Children!
Now, from what I gather, y'all are a family in jeopardy. Give it to me. No.
This family says grace.
Can't you see I'm trying to fix things?
It's too late for that. I wanted to leave. We were supposed to leave together. Just you and me.
All I do is wait, Aaron, for Meadow to come back.
So you can't keep pretending that you don't feel anything for me. Why else would you be in Shirley in time for Dad's funeral? Of all the days of the year, why today?
Coincidence?
Bullshit.
Mama, you're but a cloud, the water's bound. Come and drench me. Oh, surely won't mind. Dancing up in your drip drops all the time. Balls! Won't you good look close? Mama, you never leave. Discrepancy won't come between us. No, but I'll be kind.
There are 1,400 people in this town. How have you never heard this?
Kiss on my mind. No, I've seen your other boyfriends.
Up next, we have Angelo Sachs Shaw. Okay. Thank you, Angelo, for coming on the Benita Show. Good to
Pleasure
have
to
you.
be here.
How long have you been playing?
About 25 years.
25 years. And I think I read something about the first time you got a saxophone in your hand. You were very young.
Yes.
And you learned on your own, and you hadn't put it down since.
No. Well, I did put it down when I graduated from college.
Okay.
Came home from school and trying to find work and kind of put it down. And then I would get it out whenever there was a funeral or a wedding.
Yeah.
And just put it back up. And eventually I saw how people reacted
to your playing.
To the playing. And nowadays people, they say, well, a saxophonist at a funeral? You know, but that's what God has led me to do. And I have a thing that I do when I play at a funeral. I kneel to the casket and play the lullaby song.
Wow.
Da 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 da. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's got to be touching. I know that's a good touch. That's a original touch. I haven't seen or heard that.
Hopefully you can cut the singing part out.
No, we're going to keep that. You sounded good, man. You was on key and everything. You sounded good. Tell us a little about your background, educational or family and all that stuff.
Yes, background, went to Monmouth College.
Okay.
And there I received my bachelor's in communications.
Okay.
I'm married. I have a lovely wife and 4 children.
Beautiful family out there.
Yes, they support me. They go to all of my events, and yeah, they're
all
right
of
there.
your events.
Yes.
And you're beautiful, beautiful family.
Thank
Beautiful
you.
wife, beautiful children. Look at now. How old are they?
Okay, I have a 10-year-old daughter.
Okay.
13-year-old son, 14-year-old daughter, and a 16-year-old daughter.
Where's the 14 and 16 tonight? They doing 14, 16-year-old stuff. Doing 14. I have a 17-year-old. I ran him rugged today, and he was just about to pull his hair out. You know, Mom, look, I got to go do teenage stuff. So, yeah, I get it. Yeah. Wow, wow. Now, are they artistic as well? Are they in the arts? Do they play instruments or they like acting? They do?
Yes, my youngest daughter, Hannah, she sings.
You want to throw that out there on Hannah. Hannah said, I want everybody to know I act. Okay, baby.
And my son, Angelo Jr., he plays the sax and keyboard. And my daughter, Diamond, 14-year-old, she dances. And my oldest daughter, Sydney, she's an artist.
Okay, so, wow. Just runs in your family.
Yeah.
Well, but did your parents, were they in the arts or anything?
My mother, she's an artist. She used to draw pictures for us when we were in grade school. We had to come home and draw a picture and turn it in. Miss Bell, I'm sorry. I didn't draw that. My mother did.
See, my children can depend on me for that one because stick figure is about all I can do. Yeah. So, do you play in any? Do you play in anything other than funerals and weddings and stuff? Do you go out and perform occasionally?
Yes, I do a lot of private parties.
Okay.
Weddings, funerals. I also do banquets.
Okay.
Where I take my setup. I have speakers and
okay.
laptop with instrumentals.
Do
about 2 hours of music.
Okay.
Gospel,
right.
R&B.
So what you gonna play for us tonight?
I'm gonna do a song called "Walk with Me." It's an oldie but goodie.
Okay. 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 All right. Hit it for us.
Let me grab my neck strap.
Now, if y'all feel like want to get up and dance, go ahead. Like you're right, Benita. Yeah, I saw your video. I had it all up here playing at the wedding. You playing "Here Comes the Bride" at the wedding.
Yes, I have some original music that I've written, and I'm looking to put the CD out probably March, April, this spring of 2012. And a couple songs on titles are I have "Walk With Me" is going to be on there. Also, "Woman at the Well," and "Water to Wine." So it kind of puts you. It gives you that feel of what it was like when Jesus turned that water to wine.
Oh, wow.
And Genesis, a song about the story of Genesis.
Yeah,
so
it'll
be dropping, I'm thinking, spring of 2012.
Okay. Oh, your original music?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Original,
That's good. That's good. Wow.
Good question.
Donald?
Do you have a website, more about you or something like that?
Yes. You can check www.anointedsaxministries.com. And you can Google my name, Angelo Sax Shaw, and there are links, videos, and everything.
And you have like YouTube as well?
Yes, have a bunch of YouTube videos. The wedding video is on there that Benita mentioned.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
so.
All right, Angelo, any last thing you want to let the world know or let our audience know before we go and move on with our next guest?
No, just thankful to be here and glad that you had me on the show.
Thank you for taking the time to come out. Thank you.
I wish you the best.
We're going to do this again. We're going to do it again with all of you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.